Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Lance's Performance Shop, Lone Star Mopars.com. Works a little better with the lens cover off, doesn't it? And, I work a little better when I'm not frozen, which is currently the state I find myself. That said, here we are early in the year. Just this morning released a video on the Napros NEXT. Super good looking ratchet, and got that for Christmas, and obviously this is Saturday the 6th, so haven't had a ton of use yet. I haven't gotten it dirty because I've kept it here, but I have used it and it hadn't like hurt my hands or anything, so that part's good. It's just a question, will it collect grime and dust? Now, speaking of grime and dust, this ratchet, not this one, this is 3/8, well, we'll need it for comparison. The half inch, where did I set it? Right here. This little guy right here was filthy, and the tub of towels took care of it, right? And that's not what this video is about. No. We're gonna go into some other stuff here. I never know in these videos, you know, if I just stick to the new tool, come in with the comparisons, or if we just do a deep dive. We typically wind up doing all three, and I'm not sure that I'm gonna let myself do that for two reasons. One, it's freezing, and two, the Colts and Texans are about to kick off, and it's a win and get in game, so yeah, we will leave it at that. But last night, finally, around like 8:45, I had this arrive. And, this is from Carlyle. You can find Carlyle tools, of course, at Napa. It is their part number R12S100. So think of that as like Ratchet or Roto, 12 in this case being half. S and then 104, which you can see it there, 100 tooth count. You look at that and you'll see kind of like a star shape, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You can kind of see the dots there for dexterity's sake. Spin it around, you'll also see some cable ties which constantly stab me, and you will see a silver button that I thought was going to be blue. It's on the end of this drive handle right here, and what was it? Some video, oh yes, it was the icon one, which that was a long time ago now, but that video I think I had go live either Wednesday or Saturday of last week, and that's how I had Roto Heads on my mind constantly, every time, whether it was the Tekton ones, which yes, Pittsburgh's the same in green, can't think of all the brands, tons and tons of brands have that exact same ratchet in different color configurations. Buy what you think suits you the best or simply the best price. But that is why I had the Rotos on my mind. And whenever I do a video on a Roto ratchet, swivel head, some of you will call these swivel heads, I prefer Roto, you constantly get people that either ask why, they clearly don't understand the merits, the perfect merits of the Roto Head Ratchet, and you have other people that give advice and say, hey, you know, I've used quite a few and this is what I like. Carlyle always comes up, like always. And it's never a deal where it's like, oh, well, you know, the icon was, you know, really good and Carlyle's comparable. I like the icon. It's always Carlyle's better. Lots of times, some people actually prefer the Carlyle over the Snap-on, which is kind of crazy. And that's basically where you get to. Again, this is an odd deal. Let's just bring in all of our friends here. Okay. Who else is in the mix? There's one I guess I should probably show you. But it's a strange setup. In that icon video, you know, as I'm responding to comments and everything, which I typically do for like the first week or so, and then like past that, man, I don't have a lot of free time, so I do the best I can. But I also don't get notified when people reply, which is bizarre, but whatever. Where we're going with this is the Carlyle thing. You have this strange chasm, right? You've got your like dirt cheap stuff up here with Tekton, Pittsburgh, insert brand Y equivalent, right? And then you've kind of got gray area, right? Where like how many people know about KTC and a couple other oddballs out there, which may or may not be like entirely assembled in-house. I don't know in particular. As far as I know, they're, you know, all Japan. I think Chris Koss probably, I think he did a deep dive on them, don't hold me to it. There's sort of the Wera, you know, Zyclops stuff, obviously Snap-on, but then you get into like murky waters because everything coming out of Taiwan, there's really not much divination between them, right? You've kind of got this, and then you've kind of got this. And there's not a lot else there until you make that jump to Snap-on. Now, the crazy thing is, I do not encourage you to go out and buy this Carlyle at all. And it's not because it's a bad ratchet, and that has nothing to do with it. Obviously, we haven't used it yet, but bench impression has been pretty good so far. This is what I'm going to show you. I paid $60 for that ratchet, which I think is a good price for a half-inch drive roto head, especially one that comes highly recommended from the viewers. But look at that. They want $137 for that thing. That's essentially, you're at that price point, you would be insane to buy that when you can literally get tool truck stuff for slightly more, if not less, from your dealer. Now, the $60 price, you're not going to get that from Snap-on, right? Maybe used off eBay or a flea market find type of a deal. But they are basically, for a Taiwan-made ratchet, seeking U.S.-made tool truck prices. I'm fine with Snap-on selling stuff from Taiwan. I'm fine with, Carlyle doing it. But what kills me when stuff comes out of Taiwan, yes, it's usually a tier above, stuff coming out of China or another country. It should not be in that same price point as an American-made ratchet. That's insane to me. $60? Yeah, that is a significant jump up from this stuff. It's also fractions. I think the Snap-ons range like 160 to 200. 160 being the old style that I think they're doing away with, the 72 tooth on the Roto Head, and then they have the 100 tooth, which currently, as best I understand, is only in 3/8 drive, and that's the $200 mark. And online, if you don't have a dealer, you get red. Okay, they don't have any other colors available. I know I've watched it for a really long time, assuming they would add some, and they don't do it. The other thing, I believe in a previous Roto video, I had somebody mention, and I said, yeah, I might try the Snap-on. The half-inch drive is going away. Again, that's based off of one of you. It's not me communicating directly with Snap-on or anything. I trust you. I think you probably would have gotten that from your dealer or something. And that is going to take this out. And that's where we come into other brands. You think, hey, I thought you said you liked this. I love this. This thing is fantastic. And you're like, well, idiot, just buy the KTC half-inch. I can't. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you've thrown all this money away on these. Surely you could have, sprung for the KTC. It's not like it's actually priced very competitively. But they don't make it. They don't make a half-inch. They don't make a quarter-inch either. Typically with rotos, when you do find them, you've got quarter. Sometimes you have 3/8. 3/8, I feel, is like the Goldilocks, best of both worlds. But it's nice. What's something you have to give to Harbor Freight and these cheap ones? Quarter, 3/8, and half, right? You might have things you dislike or would change, but it's at least available in all three drive sizes. If KTC had this in quarter and they had it in half, I would have that right here, and we'd be making that video instead. But they don't. Koken. Some of you will be like, oh, get the Koken. And I have had a few of you tell me to get their 3/8 one. They don't make one in quarter or half. They might do quarter, but I kind of think they don't. It's a very strange deal here with Roto Head ratchets. SK, glory days back in the day, a lot of people still rock those. You kind of have to go to eBay, right, to pull that off and then put a rebuild kit in it likely. There's just currently manufactured, you sort of hit a brick wall, especially when you step up to the half-inch drive. This, at the 136 mark, I would legitimately just get the Snap-on. And I would do that all day, every day, if I ever decided or needed to sell it. Which typically, tools are like family to me, so I don't turn my back on them. But I would get better bang for my buck when I went to make that move. And it's just so close. Now, at $60, no, we're going to go this route over the Snap-on, right? Especially if you jump up to the 100 tooth, 60, 120, 180, you get the idea, right? Even at the 160 mark, you're not too far away from still being 3 times the price. So at that price point, this is a viable purchase. That's why it's here. It was still advertised with the blue button, and this does not have a blue button. And that's a minor deal, but it's important to me because I thought I was getting one with the blue button. And it's just that much cooler, in my opinion. So, what I want to do is turn around and grab these because we're going to get right into this ratchet. what I want to know from you is, what in the world are you doing with your Roto Heads? Again, I'm talking to the people that use them and love them and understand them, the benefits and everything. What drive size do you run the most frequently? And then if you have the half, what brand are you running and why? So I think a lot of you will probably be with this just because they're stupid affordable, especially again at Harbor Freight. But once more, R12S100. This is the Power 100 series, half-inch drive. Again, they're officially going to call it a swivel head there as well. I believe that's the same nomenclature of Snap-on. Flipping it around, you can see lifetime warranty, which is good, and it's made in Taiwan. This one I literally ordered on Thursday, and the thing showed up Friday. Again, really late Friday, but it came Friday. So quite the chunky little thing now that I can actually hold it normal without that tag there. .100 tooth. Note with the design, it is pretty intuitive to actually change direction. I'm not having to like come up here and hold it, and sometimes that's a big deal. Quick release, I personally like quick release on a Roto Head for obvious reasons. Number one, I don't want the socket coming off constantly, because typically you use these for crazy situations and angles. The other thing, it's much easier for me to do this and get a greasy socket off than it is to not have a quick release, which that would be Snap-on's not going to have a quick release in the Roto Head. If you prefer that route, again, that's driving force with your money. You can say like, well, hey, you know, this is 136 not on sale. It's worth the 20 bucks to me to jump up to that 72 tooth that doesn't have the quick release. Also, by not having the quick release, they're able to kind of have like a tri-Y deal. Essentially where it's probably a bit easier to dial it in. I haven't used one, so I can't say for sure. Sometimes with these, especially the compact KTC heads, it's sort of cumbersome, but this one in the half-inch drive, no issue whatsoever. Again, right here, very, very solid in my opinion. This one has really good length. If we compare it to the Pittsburgh Tekton equivalent right there, you're going to see it's just subtly longer. Not really enough to make a deal breaker on this drive size, but we can call this one 12, and we're going to call this one, geez, what, like 11 7/8, right? I mean, it's not much. This is technically probably like 12 1/8. So very, very subtle there, maybe like a 1/4 of an inch difference. It does not have the hanging hole. It doesn't have a place for you to run a lanyard or anything like that. That could be a deal. But this has a distinct advantage that I don't think I'm going to tell you until we make a follow-up video. So, right here on the Tekton, I have a socket that I used quite a bit with it. A little crossover. Well, it's not me doing that. That's literally them. 16 5/8. So, we'll line up our ball detent. It's actually kind of sloppy. I don't think it was that sloppy on this El Cheapo, was it? Also, the El Cheapo has directions, which is kind of nice, because with it, you think, oh, you don't know your directions on a ratchet, moron? It's one of those deals, you know, this thing, the head moves all over the place, right? So you can't just rely like you would a selector switch that's stationary, always pointed left or right. But I guess that's sloppy too. Go figure. I guess I was comparing it to the KTCs that are not sloppy. Yeah, that's good stuff. But again, we don't have that available to us. So, this is the deal. $60, I feel like this is a fair price. Again, especially if you got a Napa in your town or you pass by one. Similarly, if that's like what your shop uses for parts. If you break this, you can probably have the guy like, hey, you know, that little Roto Head broke, bring me a new one. So it could be easier for you to actually warrant. It just sort of depends on your setup and where you're at. But here's the deal. Back here we have got, I don't know if I should do this. I don't know that I'm going to do it. I guess we will. we'll go a little all out later, maybe. But one of the things I picked up for the 7,500 subscriber special was this Mac. I have not used this much. I'm kind of wanting to take it to work, particularly now that I have this. I'm pretty confident that's what I'm going to do. That'll get more seat time with this one. And again, there is a distinct advantage to the Carlyle. And some of you are going to be like, oh, no, whoa, back off. Same thing, rebrand. This is like so-and-so. I think that's like actually William Tool. If I'm not Williams, but I think it's like a William Tool company in Taiwan. Don't hold me to any of this. There's essentially then gear wrench, and then you kind of have this, and like I said, not a lot of people manufacturing these. But this one right here, Koken socket, fits quite nicely. Again, good head action. You can listen to the mechanism there. It's 100 tooth. It's very possible that we could tear these down and they would have the same internals, and you're sitting here and you're like, oh yeah, those are definitely the same company, different color, blah blah blah, subtle differences. Well, if you look at this one, you've got sort of like a nuclear symbol, right? Sort of like the 3 pegs. This one has kind of like a star. It is honestly, in my opinion, a little easier to articulate the Carlyle. I think that was one of my complaints on this Mac. I think it's just this more naturally ties in, but they are both quick release. So we'll pop that off, throw it on the Carlyle. Yeah, I again am not going to tell you. If you know what the advantage is here, feel free to speculate. I won't confirm or deny in the comment section. I'm going to keep that as a standalone for another one. But it will be interesting to see what people think it might be. That said, oddly enough, the Carlyle and the Tekton are going to have a bit better length, I would say, than the Mac. The Mac and the Tekton actually very, very similar. Again, I think we need to do a comparison on these, and I don't want to drag that into this video that I just intended to be a little quick, at least by my standards. Showcase this thing, allow me to start using it, gather some data for you. But what else did I grab right here just for kicks? And I was disappointed in myself as I edited the Napros video last night, believe it or not, like 3 in the morning. Before it went live, I was like, man, I didn't do any socket test fitments. One of those things. I was excited, and you're probably happy because that was a long video anyway. But we do cover a lot of stuff there. But what I have here, we've got a Gedore. Ooh, these are so good in 1/2-inch drive, right? We're going to take this guy, take the Koken off. We'll throw down the Gedore. Nominal, I would say. It's not elite by any standards, but it's certainly closer to that than it is terrible. Again, some people, and I would agree here wholeheartedly, 1/2-inch would be my least used of these. Granted, I've actually used a crud ton. You can tell by that anvil on the Tekton. But I am a Roto guy. That's the thing. It's something that I love. Again, the ability. That's why this one, it's actually was in the box just like this. Why? This is long, I get more leverage, and I can also go deeper. And what do? I'm able to break something free, and then I come up and whoosh, we spin it out, and it's super fast. Again, it's either kind of one of those love it, hate it, or don't understand it, or haven't tried it type of a things. But for me, it's awesome. I actually do really, really prefer that. So we'll take the Gedore off. This is an interesting combination. Beautiful setup here. A Stahlwille 19mm deep, which is dang near the size of this Koken extension, and yes, it's a wobble fix extension. So check this out. The fitment there is fantastic. And then here again, picture some of the crazy things you can do here. I do sometimes have issues where the sockets will rip off, but the main thing, like on this Tekton here, we did a lot of stuff under the truck, and I would come in and I would get the leverage that I need. I'd be way out front, kind of under the radiator, and I can run back with extensions and spin this. Super, super nice. I kind of do the same thing with breaker bars sometimes, just a little easier with this, and then especially if you're running something in, once you hit a point of friction, like, hey, the bolt's getting tight, then boom, we come in and we ratchet, right? So if you've never used a Roto, I would not recommend, unless you're like working exclusively with heavier equipment and 1/2 inch isn't your big drive size, maybe you run 3/4 and 1-inch impacts or something. But if you've never used a Roto Head, I encourage you to try one, even if it's Harbor Freight, the Pittsburgh green handles. Just pick your most frequently used drive size, 1/4 or 3/8. Try it. Again, you'll be out like $10 if you use a coupon. And like I said, you never know until you experiment. But this guy right here, I am excited. Again, there is something about it that I am very, very happy with. That if you know, you know. And we've kind of hit on it. You might be able to deduce what it is, but that's where we're going to leave it for now. So again, the Mac, I kind of want to get it to work, and then the Carlyle here will sort of take its place. There was nothing wrong with these, but you know how I am. I can never leave well enough alone. I see other brands, I see other designs, and I have to try. And truthfully, I kind of wanted to upgrade. And did we do that? You know, debatable when you factor in the price, maybe. But time will tell. I need some seat time with that. I need way more seat time with this, too, to be totally honest with you. I don't need more seat time with this. I've used that a ton, especially when you consider I've had this one longer, because the long one, of course, almost always out of stock, at least on sales, right? But yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. I would never suggest that you pay $140 for this. I really don't think this was worth the tool tuck price they're asking, for the exact same reason. Whether you like what I say or dislike what I say, you have to admit I am consistent. So we're going to take Mac, you know, proud American tool manufacturer, you know, to an extent. A little bit less and less, but still has some great American-made products, American company, Stanley Black & Decker, whatever. I would think 158 is more than that. Was a pretty good sale. I think this is probably closer to 200 for the half-inch drive. I want to say we got it around that mark. I would think that was a good price if this was made in America, and I would have zero qualms about that, especially, again, lifetime warranty. The Mac guy has been pretty good to me so far, so I think we just swap it out, no issues. So if he has it on the truck, that is, which is another thing. But this is from Taiwan, and I don't care that it says Mac. I don't care. This could come in blue. I mean, it could be my custom colors of dreams. You know, we could even like blue anodize the shaft or blue anything that I want, and I can't really justify that price tag. It's just a little hard to do. I certainly couldn't do that here, even though, yes, I'm not gonna lie, I like the blue. The yellow is a great complementary color. I realize it's also the Napa colors, but it looks pretty good. It's not necessarily how I would do it, but again, I wouldn't touch that for the retail price of $136.99. That to me is absurdly stupid, especially, again, when this is going to be so close to it price-wise at standard MSRP, just like the Snap-on, right? I think Cornwell is going to be set up roughly the same. You might even be able to get sometimes the tool truck stuff cheaper than the Carlyle from Napa if you don't have a sale or a coupon thing going. So on their real deals, or I think they're still calling it that, you take off over 50%, right? You saw I paid $60, $76.99 is what was discounted. Anytime you see something and it's discounted more than 50%, and it's not because there's a huge upgrade, or, you know, hey, this thing is junk, we're getting rid of it, or hey, you know, we have a lot of failures with these, we just want to offer them in smaller drive. There needs to be something there for you that you can learn or understand or eventually discover that necessitates for that to be on sale. Maybe this Napa's going out of business. Old man's retiring, the kids don't want to do it. He tried to sell it, no one would buy it, and he got an offer from some fast food chain that wants that lot, and he's like, hey, you know, I got to be out of here by June 1st. Everything has got to go. If you get that for, you know, 76 off, that's cool. It makes sense, right? But anytime you see that, it's either just a great deal, which is going to be the rare thing, but definitely possible, or there's something wrong. And in this case, I think it's a good deal. I'm not going to say a great deal, because I think this probably should cost, realistically, $59.99, and then you get it on sale for like $29 to $39, and that's kind of like, oh, hey, I got a good deal, you're still making money. Because here's the thing, if we can sell this for $60 now, you're making a profit off of that still, okay? So the markup between what they're paying for this to be manufactured in Taiwan and what it's going for in the store or their website, is bonkers. I mean, absolutely insane. That is what kills me. And it kills me with the Carlyle, and it kills me with the Mac, and it would kill me with Cornwell or Matco. It would kill me if a German brand did it. I respect the country of origin. I think Taiwan can make great stuff, but they don't need to be charging dang near the price of what Snap-on sells an American-made one for. Some of you might actually prefer either one of these or even the cheap ones over the Snap-on, but the thing the Snap-on has, made in America, right? Taiwan stuff usually comes in, rarely disappoints. It's typically of good quality, you know, a known commodity at this point in time. The trade-off is it should be priced accordingly, and you're not going overseas and making stuff in Taiwan instead of America because you're trying to get a better product necessarily. Sometimes, like on the ratcheting wrenches, there's so many patents and things, but with something like this, you could easily do this here, but you're going over there to shave your costs so you can maximize your profits. And if you can sell this at MSRP and shave off 76, make it 60, over 50% reduction, and you're still making a profit, that puts it right in that range I told you it ought to be. Like, this thing ought to be priced at 59, and then you get it on sale. And guess what? On the sale price, they'd still be making money. Okay. Think of the volume that you can buy these in and get the price driven down lower. That's not getting passed on to you and me, right? And I think the Snap-on is a little high too, but comparatively, when we think about these coming out of Taiwan and being priced at that point, it kills me. Same thing, you heard me knock Stahlwille. That's why I didn't ever have their, you know, ratcheting wrenches until they had the big quarterly sale, you know, at Seasonal, KC Tool, because it was a great buy at that point. Otherwise, I say the same thing. I cannot justify paying this much money for something from Taiwan. It could be a fantastic tool, but I'm not going to pay a premium price as I would if it was a ratcheting wrench manufactured in America. So that's kind of where I stand there. Again, we're going to have to hit this back, and I think you'll kind of find it interesting. Maybe we tear them down, maybe we don't. They are super similar here. Again, 100 tooth, similar design, slightly different. Is it something they spec'd out with the manufacturer? Is it truly different? Can we swap the internals between these two if we can get them cracked open? Who knows? If you do, if you've messed around with this, if you've crossed this bridge, if you've researched it to the nth degree, leave a comment. Let people know. Help them out. That's the goal here. Again, I will link to this. I make nothing off of it. Obviously, not affiliated with Napa or Carlyle hand tools or anything. Bought this with my own money. Shipped UPS, all that jazz. I'm just picking up things that I think are cool and might be an upgrade. And like I said, I kind of think this will stay and this will go to work. Could change. We'll just have to see, feel it out from there. But yeah, I'm going to quit rambling, stand a little closer to the space heater, and come back for a follow-up video that I think you'll enjoy. With that said, LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all three at Lone Star Mopars. With that said, thanks so much for watching. Do hope you enjoy. But you know the drill. If you jump your Charger across the creek while wielding your Carlyle half-inch drive Roto Head Ratchet that you picked up for under $60 at the local Napa, YouTube just might notify you. We got new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, 9 a.m. Texas time. With that said, thanks again for watching. Most importantly, I hope I catch you back here for more action from the shop.